Now, these are both cards of commitment. This is a week where you're really looking at what you're committed to, how you're going forward. Start off with the Four of Wands. Like I said, this is where we've reached the foundation. It says, okay, you've got a great foundation. Celebrate how far you've come. The Four of Wands is a card of celebration. It's very happy energy. I actually love the Four of Wands. And I think it has a lot of that energy of the sun in it, in that we've already started something. We've started growing something. And we've reached a point where it's saying, let's stop for a moment. Let's see how far we've come. And in the kind of gratefulness or the celebration of how far you've come, you recommit to it. You think, okay, well, I'm going to go even further. I'm going to build this. This is leveling up in a relationship, a new job, a house move. It's that kind of energy where we decide to go bigger. Why? Because we're stable enough, right? We're stable enough. Now, for some people as an underlying energy, it may be, I mean, it's kind of celebration, and some of you have your birthdays coming up. So it could be to do with that, but I'm seeing it as a bigger energy, especially with the Hierophant coming up beneath it, because as much as the minor arcana is about our day-to-day experiences of what's going on, and you have 4 minor arcana energies that have come up here. Let me just make sure I'm not making that up. Nope, there we go, 4. The major arcanas are about life changes, life shifts. Whatever you're doing right now this week, it is part of the big, and everything is, right? It's part of the bigger journey that we are on in our lives. Now, that's the whole point here. Some of you, very literally, look at these two. Some of you might be moving house. Some of you might be changing jobs, changing the people around you, redecorating, whatever. The Four of Wands can be a change in the energy around us. It's causing stress and anxiety. You might be stressed out about whatever is going on. Now, for others of you, though, with this coming up at the heart of the reading, it's actually a good thing. And that's not me sugarcoating it. I don't do that, for those of you that have followed me for a while. This is about, if that's the worst thing that's happening here, it's good. Why? Because the Nine of Swords says it's the going over it and over it again and again. It's making it bigger. It's making, it's making it seem worse than it is. The Nine of Swords always has that message. Things are not as bad as they seem, no matter what is going on. And I always like to say this, that no one wakes up and decides to get stressed out and anxious over nothing. There is something, obviously. Worried about, will I get the job move? Will I get the promotion? Will this happen? What's going to happen with this? But a lot of that, the worst aspects of it, are being created from our mind. The solution to the Nine of Swords, I always say, is to speak your truth. Speak it. Say the words. Get them out of your head. Because this can be lack of sleep, and everything feels worse at 3 a.m. If you wake up at 3 a.m., and it feels like the rest of the world is asleep, which isn't the case, but it feels like it. Even if there's someone lying next to you in the bed, it feels very lonely and very depressing. That kind of energy of, I don't know what I'm going to do. Speak it. And the Page of Swords beneath that says the same thing. Then you have the Seven of Wands coming up as a past energy. So this is last week, last month, last year, the foundation. You've been going for a lot. Seven of Wands is things coming at us from every angle. It's defensive energy. Now, we cannot create. We cannot create from the energy of the Seven of Wands. Why do I say that? Because think about it. If you're braced for impact, if you're defending something, and that's what this guy's doing. He's defending the doors, right? If you're defending something, how can you put energy out into the world? It's as if, I call this the warrior spirit card, but think about that. If you're a warrior and, I don't know, say England is your kingdom. That's what you fight for. That is your home. It's England. Now, how can you go conquer France? Sorry, French people, but how can you go conquer France or go out? And that's what countries used to do, right? How can you do that if you're defending your home? If you're defending England, you can't go out and conquer France, right? You can't send your troops out to another land. And that's how I was explaining the Seven of Wands. But this is making a stand. It's like saying, no more, you cannot have this. This is mine. This can be a testing time. This can be a literal test. Sometimes it's examinations that we're taking, interviews. And this kind of energy can be job interviews. You might be stressed out. Think about it literally. Had a job interview, went through the test of it, stood up for myself. Now I'm stressed out because I don't know if I'll get the job. I'm just trying to explain how the energy can come through. Or obviously, it's a general reading and it can go both ways, first of all. So if there's someone central to your story, you might be explaining what's going on there if you're stressed out about that. But the other thing is, we use the energy in different ways. Some of you, it might be that, I'm not going to deal with problems coming at me anymore. I'm going to go create something. Let me look at what my foundation is. How do I build on this? How do I commit? Some of you have been asked to commit to something. That's what's causing you the stress, because you've gone through such a troubling time in the worst. In the past, you've gone through this troubling time in the past. So you're thinking the worst now that, well, I don't want to go through that again. I'm happy with my 4 wands. I don't know if I want to get back into the fray with the 7. Where are we right now? Well, we have faith or the Hierophant coming up in the present. And that's what you're being asked to look at. The Hierophant is a card of commitment. These are both marriage cards. So it could be someone's getting married this week. And this is that whole, it is stressful building up to it. You've gone through a lot to get to this stage. But the faith card, that's why it's called faith in this deck. What do you have faith in? Now, no one can tell us what we have faith in. That's the whole point of faith. It's ours. We choose to commit to it. But the Hierophant, it's the prescribed path. And have a look here. There's a lot of religious, iconic people that you see from different faiths, right? It looks like these leaders of different faiths. And that's what the Hierophant is. Usually, sometimes called the Pope in some decks, or the High Priest. What is it that you conform to? What are your beliefs in this situation? What do you commit to? That's what's going to give you stability and security and get you out of this headspace here. I always say this. You don't have to have faith in what's going on around you. You don't have to have faith in the people around you, the path that you're on, what's coming up ahead. You don't have to worry about that. You just have to have faith in yourself. And faith is not hope. Faith is knowing that I will know what to do. I have strong boundaries. If someone tries to cross my boundary, I can deal with it. You have faith in yourself, knowing that I will know what to do. Some of you, it might be that, why are you stressed? This is what's getting me. Why is there this stress and anxiety at the heart of this? Because the rest of it looks pretty good, like going forward, commitment, stability, the prescribed path. But that might be it. The whole point of the Hierophant, I always say this, is that, if it's career and stuff, it might be that you've studied to do something and you no longer want to do it. It doesn't bring you fulfillment. I don't want to be a lawyer. Or everyone in your family's been a doctor and you're expected to be a doctor, but that's not who you are. You're an artist or a painter or, fashion designer or something totally different. So the faith can't ask you to look at tradition. Are you following tradition? What is your tradition? We can create new traditions, right? It's the prescribed path, but we choose to conform to it. So what expectations are you putting on yourself based on what you have faith in, what you believe in? Important to know that. Why do I say that? Because going forward, we have the Page of Swords. So I see the Page of Swords as whatever this is that's stressing you out, that's, bringing you this anxiety and stress and becoming bigger and bigger. That's the spy. What does this Page of Swords do? He goes and gets more information. So the key thing to remember here, is just because it's always been that way doesn't mean it always will be that way. And with the Page of Swords coming up, there is more information available. I've always feel like there's been some misunderstanding when the Page of Swords shows up. Because he is the spy. He goes and gets more information. But I want you to imagine this. Say I got someone who knew nothing about tarot. This is the example I always give. So they know nothing about tarot. And I send them out there. And, I don't know. Maybe I tell them, go spy on this competitor for me. Or go find out this information about this deck. They can get the information. Doesn't mean they understand it. Because they don't know anything about tarot. They're going to just, give it to me in their own terms. From their place of lack of understanding of the tarot. In that example. I hope that makes sense. So, it's about understanding. Ask more questions if you need to. But there has to be communication to get out of this. There is more information available to you. I think you're stressed out by the lack of information here. But it's kind of strange because it's asking you to commit before you get the more information. And that makes sense too if you think about it. What's the point of getting more information if you don't know whether you commit or not? And that's very telling. I mean, if it had been this way around, even then it would be asking you to look at what's my foundation? Am I strong enough? How do I build this? How am I going to go forward? And then it says get the information. But it's not that. This is asking you to look at what do you want? Where are you? What do you prescribe to? What is your faith in? What do you want? Know where you are first. And then get more information based on that. Don't decide where you are based on what's going on around you. Because the faith is your faith, right? Where you want to go, what you commit to first. Then you'll know what to get more information on. And what comes out of that? The Empress. The Empress is a card of expansion, it's abundance, growth. It's the opposite of this. Like I said about the Four of Pentacles is very closed energy. Right at the beginning, we had that, right? But the Seven of Wands is as well. Remember, you can't create from this because you're so busy defending yourself. So if you take nothing else away from this reading, take this. That time of defending, of, saying, no, I'm not going to do this, or whatever you were defending, like yourself, your relationship, your work, whatever work you were doing, your passions, your creativity, that's past. Now it's a time to grow that. But the thing is, we can sometimes be braced for impact. We're so braced for impact that we don't realize the energy has flipped or changed. That we can grow now. Now is a time for growth. Does that make sense? Because the Empress, she understands that. She understands things take time. She understands there's seasons for everything. I mean, have a look here. Usually she's seen as a pregnant woman, and she is here as well. It takes time to conceive a baby. It takes time to grow a baby. And then even when the baby's born, it takes time to, you have to nurture and grow it. Now have a look here. You have a look. You see all these animals, and they all have young with them. They take care of what it is that they're trying to nurture and grow. This is a time of growth for you. But it feels like this is the week of the shift. The shift happens. What are you committing to going forward? Because you're about to start building and growing something. That's why it's so important to know where you are. Right, let's get you some oracle cards and expand on this. I mean, Sagittarius, you know better than anyone. And I have a Sagittarius rising. Just because it's always been that way doesn't mean it always has to be that way, right? But I think if you've not known where to go looking for more information or whatever, because you're so in your own head. And I think you haven't fully decided to commit to it. So imagine if I was going for a job, right? And I didn't know. I'm thinking, well, I could be this and I could be that. I can't go out there and start exploring everything. First, I have to decide, well, what do I want to do? Well, okay, I want to work for myself. Fine. Well, that crosses out all the other jobs that I would be applying for. What can I do? So it's working through it that way. But first, it's the commitment to what I want to work for myself. Do you see?